Welcome to what should be episode 2 of my building of a Volvo C30 race car. Not 100% sure it was episode 2 or not, because I haven't edited episode 1 yet, but hopefully it's episode 2. As you can see, the car is now on its side, on the rotisserie. Nothing too shocking under here that I wasn't expecting. I mean, there's a fair bit of rust. I mean, it's a 2009 car in the UK with all our salt and everything else, so you've got to expect to be some rust. There's nothing major, it's just surface rust primarily, and the worst sort of rust is on these edges here where it's separated a little bit, but there's still plenty of metal there once I clean all that off, so there's nothing there, certainly no holes anywhere anyway. I've already gone around removed most of the stuff from under here. Still a few brackets to go. All the usual seam sealer absolutely everywhere. They do seem to like that stuff. You can cut these brackets off from the back, so I don't need those, so I'll get rid of those. They're pretty rusty and horrible. But other than that, it's pretty much as I'd expect. Had a little bit of problems getting the car on the rotisserie, primarily because I've got not a lot of roof height with these beams across here. The bottom one is optional, I could have taken that one out, but I've got quite a lot of insulation, it's a metal roof, there's a lot of weight on that roof, so I don't really want to take it out unless I have to. So what I did was to remove the wheels off of the rotisserie once it was all in place. Just put some wood down to stop the bolts digging into the floor, and that seems to have worked very nicely. It's all quite solid. It's very easy to rotate around. One thing I wanted to show in here was these stitch welds down here. Now these come from the factory like this. Now that, I don't know if that was on my other car or not, because I never removed all the seam sealer on that one. But this is exactly where the other one was cracking, as well as the engine mounts, etc. So I wonder if that's an improvement they've made. This car's a 2009, as I've said, and the other car was a 2006, so good 3 years between them, so time to change things on the production line, so you never know. Alright, I'm going to see if I can figure out how to do a time lapse now, and you can see me grinding off a load of stuff off the bottom of the car, which I'm sure will be fascinating. Okay, it's enough time lapse, I'm sure you get the idea of that, and it's always very exciting to watch you do the whole car. Just a few seconds probably in time lapse, but it's about 4 or 5 minutes in reality, just to clear out that little bit. Try to using the sanding disc there and the wire wheel there. The sanding disc gets off a lot quicker, it makes so much fine dust, it's going to get everywhere. The wire wheels will be a lot easier. You see how deep it is there, because you can not even hint that ridge exists really up here, so it's very thick. What I'll probably do is use the bigger cup on the wire wheel, because I've got the down here on these. I've got the smaller one on there at the moment from doing the inside, and it's fairly well worn. So if I put a bigger fresh one on, it'll probably get through there a lot quicker. So I shall crack on with that, and I'll come back filming when there's something more interesting going on. Okay, this is where I'm at so far. That is 20 minutes work to do that. So you can see it's not a quick process. But that is far faster than the way I did it in the previous 2 cars I've built, lying on my back underneath it. To do that amount was probably about an hour's work before, if not more. It took me 3 weeks to do the whole underneath of the car, but last time, looking at this, it's probably going to be 2 or 3 days, I would think, which is a lot better. And another thing I've got this time which makes life a lot easier, and which I thoroughly recommend, is, oh my knees again, ow, is one of these, which is a Bosch variable speed angle grinder, because these wire cups and wheels don't like being spun too fast. I've got my old faithful Ryobi angle grinder here, which I use with these. That runs at a slow speed naturally because it's battery powered, but obviously it eats through batteries like there's no tomorrow. Whereas with the Bosch, I can slow it right down. I mean, I run at about 3.5. Top speed is, there we go, about 3.5. Top speed is 6. It goes right down to 1, which I don't know how slow, about far too slow to do anything with. So yeah, that's made life a lot easier. Thoroughly recommend it. Right, a lot of progress being made now. Got a rhythm to it. There's nice shiny metal all the way along there. But it's a very, very messy process. The car on its side, there's certainly a lot more dust gets spread everywhere than if it's the right way up and you're underneath it. Because it's full, you can barely see in here once I get cracking. You can see there's a fair bit of a heavier stuff on the floor, but it's a dust in the air, so I've got dust sheets absolutely everywhere now. Just trying to keep things a bit cleaner. Obviously not over the TV or anything, but getting there. Just got to keep slogging away. Literally back to the grind. This is the 10th and probably final full scoop of underseal and sound deadening off the bottom of the car. Out of interest, I've weighed it, and it's near enough 3 kilos. So that's 30 to 33 kilos of weight off the bottom of the car. I mean, alright, weight that low down is not the end of the world, but anything you can do makes it easier to accelerate and decelerate. Primary reason why I take all this off is because this is what caught fire on the old car. It was already underseal. Yeah, it was pretty well soaked in gearbox oil from the gearbox blowing up earlier in the year, but I still don't like having anything flammable on the bottom of the car if I can avoid it. But the weight saving is a very nice plus. Right, finally finished on the bottom of the car. Not perfect, but it's certainly got the vast majority of all the underseal and everything off, and all the extra brackets, etc. So they're worth doing, but absolute pig of a job. If that had such an expensive season, I would have seriously considered stopping and taking it off to be acid dipped or sandblasted. But it's been an expensive year. Started off in testing at the beginning of the year. Lost a water hose, and I thought I got away with it. But at the next race, the head gasket went, so I had to fix that. And then race after that, I developed a really bad misfire, which took forever to diagnose. Eventually turned out to be a faulty ECU, so I had to get a new one of those. And by that point, I'd bought loads of new sensors and everything else anyway. Had a couple of good races after that, and then I dropped a valve on the engine and blew the engine up, which I think was caused by all the backfiring and misfiring with the ECU problem. So yeah, it's been a lot of expense. And you can see how much dust has been spread all around the garage with cleaning the bottom off. I had dust sheets everywhere, so it's not as bad as it could have been. I mean, all the shelves here are quite clean and tidy. My trophies up there look a little bit worse for wear, but not the end of the world. I've weighed all the stuff I took off the bottom of the car. It's 30 kilos in total always, so worth doing. And this box here is all the brackets and bits of metal which I've cut off the car which aren't needed, and all the rear seat supports. This is the spare wheel support, rear toe eyes and stuff like that, so that's always been removed. And that little lot weighs 22 kilos, so that's 52 kilos in total saved by doing this. Right, that's all the welding done on the bottom. You can see it's starting to flash rust a bit, the car, but it's not the end of the world. Just give a quick go with Scotch-Brite before I paint it, but I've got to make up and fit the roll cage before that, because otherwise welding that's going to burn through everything. So I thought I'd finished a day or so ago, but you turn around and you find out you've missed a bit. And there's the engine mounts, which we're starting to pull away on the old car. I think these are going to go anywhere. What do you do? Everywhere I can get to on them. I mean, a lot of the things you only want to stitch weld. You don't want to make things too stiff, but these are an exception to that. You want these nice and stiff and not cracking off anywhere. And I've done around the suspension turrets as well. So a bit more to go around the back, what I forgot to do. On the last stretch now. Remember I said about how bad the points for fixing the heat shielding underneath the car were? Well, that is one of them. And it's so rusty that you can barely even see the thread on it anymore. And that's one of the good ones. So what I'm going to do is chop that off and show you what I'm going to do to replace it. Okay, that's it cut off and the area cleaned up. I can still see just about where it was originally, and this is what I'm going to replace it with. One of these little stainless steel studs, square bottom on them. It's nice and easy to weld, bit of weld on each corner. And there'll be a nylock nut and a big washer and a nylock nut on top to hold the heat shielding on, and that should do the job. And there's the finished article. Not my best bit of welding in the world, but it is very hard to hold one of those on with great big thick welding gloves on, so I might have to make up a little magnetic clamp or something to hold them on for the next ones, because there's quite a few of those to do. Okay, I've finally finished all the welding on the underside of the car and in the engine bay. And it's interesting to look inside the car and see quite how many there are, because you can see them clearly in here, because obviously it's burned through the metal onto this side. So it's actually, even though there's so many of them, it's a very fast process. I mean, I did the vast majority of it in a day. I mean, it's taken me pretty much a week to do the whole lot, but that's because some of them are quite tricky to get to, and cleaning up and fixing holes and things like that. So what I've got left to do now is patch in all these holes in the floor. Just waiting for some metal to arrive for that, and then do the bits of welding I need inside. Like on here, around here, there's need a bit more cleaning up on those obviously. And there's some bits on here. Still got a bit of clearing up to do around the top of the suspension turrets, where I've cut out for the adjustable top mounts. I need to grind all that back nice and smooth. You can see here where I've filled all this area with 2-part metal epoxy, because all that just fills up with tyre rubbish and gravel and dust and all sorts. It was a nightmare in the other car. I might just make up a little bit of sheet metal on there to weld in there to close that in as well. The stuff doesn't get trapped up there. You can see where I've stitched around, welded around the outside of the turrets and the top of the gearbox mount, or gearbox stroke engine mount on that side. So it shouldn't be going anywhere. And I've stopped this point, because from there forward, and then we have the front structure of the car there, which all bolts on. All that is the deforms, you can see by the ripples on it. So don't want to reinforce that, because you want the car to deform in the event of a crash. Right, we're about 2/3 of the way through welding on the inside, patching in holes on the floor and on the firewall, on the floor over here. Still got around the back to do, but I've been having endless problems with welders. as soon as I fix one problem with a welder, something else on it breaks, but I think I finally got to the end of it. But now I've run out of gas, so a couple of days to get some new gas bottles delivered, so progress will stop on this for the moment. Yeah, you see the problems we've been having here. Nicely welding, going along nicely, then down there it suddenly decides, oh look, I'm going to leak all the gas out on the side of the torch rather than out the front of the torch, so end up with lots of holes and lots of soot, which is not good, but I've got that fixed now. And hopefully that'll be the end of the welder problems, because it's driving me balmy. Obviously with those delays I'm a little bit behind now, so I'm not sure if I'll get a video out for next week or not, because it's meant to be the roll cage and painting next week. I haven't started the roll cage yet, so, and I'm still waiting for some metal for that as well, so we'll see what happens. I have got to strip the gearbox out at some point, so we might have an interim video on taking the gearbox apart if I can't get anything else done, but we'll see what happens. But that's the end of this episode. See ya.